right? So do these things, do it sincerely, and do most of it before, if you can do at least, say, if you can read the syllabus, if you can read all the parts of the syllabus, read sir's notes, and prepare answers to around 70 to 80% of the topics, you will definitely crack this exam in your first attempt. Then of course GS is also there, but you have time. You have the one advantage you all have now is time, right? So you have to work hard. No, I don't have to say that because all the videos say it. So approximately 6 hours after, or at least 4 to 5 hours after class, and you'll do it for sure. Believe me, right? So this should be a fine line, making the answers, and I'll tell you in the exam what happens, right? There are two types of questions in anthropology: 10 marker, 20 marker, and 15 marker. So UPSC gives you limited space, 2 pages for 10 and 3 pages for 15 and 20. So your note should be, if you think this is a possible 10 marker, it should be 2 to 3 pages, not more than that for a single topic, right? So am I very clear on this? I want you to remember this, right? So 2 to 3 pages, not more than that, or 1.5 to 3 pages. So keep this approach, keep this examiner oriented approach. Every time you're reading something, why am I reading it? Yes, I'm reading it to understand, definitely, it's beautiful, but I'm also reading it to get marks. Do not forget that. So only if you have that attitude and you build it from now on, will my words be of any worth to you, right? So please remember that, right? So let's go to the next topics of social anthropology, socio-cultural anthropology. So what is a society? Or if they say in anthro, you'll see this word, social change, right? So socio-economy, very common words in anthro. What is it? So I'll give you a brief idea of what society is. So in anthro, when you see society, it is mainly marriage, family, kinship, and religion. So these are the things that anthro focuses on, right? So whenever you say society, talk about this, because I did not know till 2 months before the exam what society is. The anthropological thing of society. You can actually, somebody is telling it to you now, but I did not know it, and I never understood it, and I always wrote generalistic things saying yes, society has changed, it is democracy, they have become very free, they have learned some things, but I never learned to segregate it. And in UPSC, when you write an answer, it should be segregated, right? So they know that yes, point 1, point 2, point 3. They're not going to hunt. If you mix things up, you will not get any marks, because they check an answer, I'm thinking approximately for 30 seconds, not more than that. So in those 30 seconds, you should convey to them that you know. How will you do that, right? So you will do that this way. So you have to segregate the answers in an anthropological way, right? So marriage, family, kinship, economy, polity, religion. Just keep saying this in your sleep also. And that you have got the idea of anthropology. That is it, okay? Now, why are you studying all these things? Why is anthropology so interested in studying these things, right? There should be some use of it, right? So actually, I'll tell you the historical thing. Now, anthropology came up in an environment when around 100, 200 years back, when there was a lot of racism, right? You know what racism is, right? So, demeaning a person or saying that he is not good enough because of his culture, his skin color, or anything like that, or his way of life. So, anthropology is actually one of the best subjects which has stopped this racism. So, that is the huge relevance of anthro. If anybody asks you, why are you studying this? Say, I'm studying it to understand people. I'm studying it to know that every society is equal to ours. But why? Every society is a function of its climate, I told you, right? Climate and environment. And that makes a society how you are. So why are Indians, a lot of Indians, vegetarian? Because of the agriculturist society, right? Why is there a taboo on, say, cow slaughter? Because of the agriculturist society. So you have to understand that, and only then can you understand people, right? And what is the use of understanding people? Administration, right? So you want to enter administration, right? IAS. So say you are trying to implement a scheme, drinking water. or anything. So do you think that if you just put the pipes there, will people drink? Maybe not. If you ask people to have family planning, will they do it? No. If you ask people to participate in Gram Sabhas, will they do it? The evidence shows that no, absolutely not. They'll say, okay, it's imposed from outside. Why will we do it? So you have to understand their concept of leadership, especially with the people that Anthro deals with the most is tribes. Yes, you know that. Yeah, that's good. So if you don't understand the tribals, you can never help them, right? If you don't understand their society, they will think that it is foreign. It is being imposed from outside. Why should we do it? This person does not understand us. So that is the number one use of Anthro. Understanding people to implement schemes better. I'll tell you, thousands of crores of government money has been wasted and is still being wasted because of lack of studies or lack of understanding people. You see, so if you don't understand how a person sits, say if you give chairs here and people prefer sitting on the ground, they will not use the chairs, right? So you should understand, that's a very small example, but you should understand how people think, how people appreciate leadership. What is that? If you're implementing a health scheme, say, you have to understand what is people's belief of health. People have different concept of health, right? So this is one, and another thing about Anthro, it's called medical anthropology, right? So people think, actually a tribal person might think that a person is infected because if he has a spirit in him, right? He will think that there's some sorcery, black magic, something like that. So a doctor does not appreciate this. He'll just, he'll tell that person to keep quiet, eat these medicines and it will go. But if a person does not believe you, he won't take it and it will never go. And he'll continue to blame that person. So you have to understand very simply that it is Anthro about understanding ourselves and understanding people. Alright, so this is a basic understanding I want to give you. So whenever you get bored and think, why am I studying this? Think, actually it is shown that, people with anthropology as an optional perform quite well in civil services. As civil servants on the ground. Because Anthro teaches you something called cultural relativism. I think you've heard of it by now. So what is cultural relativism? Your culture and my culture is same and it is good in its own in its own position, Your culture is good for your society. Of course, it needs some improvements, but your culture is a product of your society. My culture is a product of my society and my upbringing. The way I talk is a product of my upbringing. The way you talk or approach things is a product of your upbringing. So there's nothing wrong in that, right? There's nothing like something is inferior, something is superior, right? So now you have modernization. So people's culture is changing because before you did not have industries, you did not have communication, infrastructure. So now the culture again changes. India, the culture is changing. Why is it changing? Because of the economy, right? Because of the new ideas, right? And because of the climate also. Global warming, now you'll see there'll be a change. There'll be a shift of cultures. If the sea rises, say 10 meters, won't there be a shift of culture? Won't people start living differently in different type of houses, right? So everything is interconnected, right? It's all a product of something. So just understand that this is called cultural relativism. That is the core value of Anthro, right? Actually, there are 4 core values in Anthro. One is this cultural relativism. The other is holism, as you said, somebody said. Study man in totality, right? So why are you studying man in totality? Why are you studying the economy, the polity, the science, the art, the language? It's for a reason. Now, what is this reason, right? It's to understand wholly what they are, because everything is interconnected. Especially for a tribal, say there's a tribal dance. You might see it just as a dance, but they see it as a way of teaching their children, right? They see it as a way of schooling, as a way of bringing up the next generation, and or as a way of praising or worshipping somebody. So it's connected to religion, it's connected to child rearing, it's connected to, say, trade, right? It's connected to a lot of things. So everything in tribal societies especially is interconnected. So you have to understand this interconnection. And if you understand it, yes, you have a certain essence. You have understood a certain essence of anthropology. So after you understand this, that is society, that is social anthropology. Now next you will go to physical. So physical is again evolution and variation. Yes. So physical is, I'll tell you some use of because I believe in studying something only when I can see its use, right? So if you're like me, I'll tell you what is the use of physical anthropology. So now if I know how man's head is shaped, say a person's head in India and Africa would be shaped differently. Actually, it is shaped differently. So what is the use of that? You can design different clothes for them, right? Say you're designing ejection seat in a plane, right? Or you're designing, say, oxygen mask. Without knowledge of how humans vary or how they differ in continents, you cannot design the proper mask. It will fall off, right? If you don't know how men and women differ in their structure, you cannot design appropriate clothes, right? What fits a man might not fit a woman. Yes. So you have to understand that, and that is the use of physical anthropology, or one of the uses. Then, of course, forensic anthropology. How do you solve a murder? If you know how people vary, I can see this bone and tell you, yes, this is the skull of a male, or a female, or an African, or a European, Caucasoid, or a Negroid. These are the anthropological terms. Or an Indian, approximately you can tell. So this is the use of studying physical anthropology. So this is why you study variation in man. So physical again has a lot of scope, a lot of topics, and physical is a very scoring part. So there are certain scoring parts you should know in anthropology, and that is physical anthropology, right? Because why? Now you should know why. So physical is actually quite exact. If I ask you structure of DNA, there is only one structure of DNA, right? And it can be written only in a particular way. And if you write that, why will you not get full marks, right? But if I ask you something on marriage, it's a little more diverse, it's a little more vast, so you cannot score as much. So I would say attempt physical anthropology, make it strong, right? And draw diagrams. So practice all these things, practice diagrams, practice, physical anthropology questions, and of course practice social anthropology questions, especially theories. So now I'll come to the final thing, which is the toughest part to understand in anthro. It's called theories. So what are these theories? In anthro, you have something called theories. There are a lot of theories. Evolutionism, diffusionism. If you have maybe, look at them. Look at the syllabus, please, today. And you'll see there is something called theories. Now, these theories try to explain how man changes or what is this culture. And it's very tough to understand. Believe me, I took 1 year or more to understand. Actually, and you have access to very good notes, all these things, so you can understand quite fast, right? So theories are the core of anthropology. So any subject has a core, a beating heart, and that is theories. So if you understand theories, you'll understand anthropology, right? And theories is too long to explain, actually. It's quite hard. But if you understand whatever I've told you, right, you can understand theories. So theories, we'll keep it for another discussion because each theory takes 1 day. And I'm telling you, get strong in theories because that's the core of anthropology. And if you write that, you will impress the examiner. Basically, you have to show that you're an expert, right? Expert. So if you do that, you will impress the examiner and there you'll get good marks. Yeah. So, and okay, now I'll come to paper 2. So again, it's the same thing. Indian society, Indian culture, basically what Indian civilization is, and tribal society and tribal culture, right? So paper 2 is also to be written with an anthropological perspective because paper 2 has GS questions. Panchayati Raj institution is a question in anthro. And when I first saw that question, I thought, yes, I'll write Panchayati Raj, yes, Article 73rd Amendment, 1992, yes, the Gram Sabha and all that. But no, absolutely not. It was totally different from what I expected. Actually, anthro is about change, right? So anthro in PRIs or Panchayati Raj in anthropology seeks to know how Panchayati Raj has changed an Indian village. Actually, that is the anthropological perspective. In India, you have a core, a triangle of what is important, which is joint family, because most Indians live in joint family and still do also. So joint family, village, organization, and and women and the normal people of the village. So joint family, these 3 things are very important. These form a triangle, right? So Panchayati Raj, you look at how it is transforming this joint family, how it is transforming the condition of women, how it is transforming the village relations, right? And that is what you have to write in PRI. So Panchayati Raj means I have a Gram Sabha, right? And in this Gram Sabha now, everybody can come, including lower caste, upper caste. So they meet and they talk, which is not how it was maybe 100 or 200 years ago, right? So that is what anthropology seeks to tell you. Not, 73rd Amendment, not Gram Sabha, not anything related to GS, and it's totally different. And nobody told me that, right? I had to, understand it, and luckily I understood it in time. So that's very important. You have to know these things, right? So similarly, there are many such questions in anthropology. There's media and social change. Now, what is social change? In Indian, I told you again, marriage, family, kinship, all those things are social change. So how is media changing an Indian family? Right? How is media changing a joint family? Say the women who were suppressed before, they watch media, they get empowered. So that's how it's changing it. Anthro is all social. So you have to find out how media is changing all these things, right? How it's changing the life of tribals, how it's changing, the village. It's bringing, say if you have media, you have access to new ways, agriculture. So your agriculture is changing that way. So that is the anthropological perspective about change. So past situation, factors of change, change situation. So this is what you have to know. Maybe it will look boring now, but please listen to me very carefully, because this is something I didn't know and which could have costed me a lot of marks actually, and it will cost you a lot of marks, because you will stay, in that 220 to out of 500, you will stay in that range forever, not ever understanding, practicing and practicing answer after answer, but not understanding what is going wrong. And 4 years of your life will just disappear. So I do not want your 4 years to disappear, and it'll disappear like, very fast. And then you'll think, what have I done? And then you'll look at other options, back up all the different exams. So I'm telling you, you can crack this exam, right? So you understand how, you understand why, you make answers, right? You make 2 to 3 page answers for everything. Easily, I'm telling you, easily you can crack Anthro. And similarly, work hard for GS. There's a lot of other things in GS also. Work hard in each paper. Please balance everything out and you'll do it. There's no other issue. It's just daily, consistent work and not forgetting why I'm writing the exam. You have to always remember that. So if you think of it daily, every day, and do not forget that for 1 year. 1 year plus 3 months. So till prelims and then mains. I'm surely telling you, you can come somewhere in the list, if not top 100 and IS. So that's what I wanted to tell you basically. So what are your backgrounds, can I know approximately? Like, are you all engineers mainly, or how many engineers? Okay, alright. How many humanities? Oh, alright. Okay, so the humanities people might be able to understand it a little faster. And I myself am a doctor, so from a scientific background, so it was a little hard to understand this social science, because I've been isolated from social science for 6, 7, 8 years, who knows. So it takes time, but you can easily understand it and try to get that essence now. Don't wait till after prelims, because you have a lot to do. If you can do that work now, then your road is set, right? So I wish you all the best. So any doubts you can ask me now. The GS approach again depends on what they're asking you, right? So GS, they can ask you, Indus Valley civilization was unique among civilizations. Why? Or something like that. So in Indus Valley civilization actually had town planning, and the other places do not have very good town planning. So it's a more of a generalistic thing. It's what an educated person would know. A general person, if he reads a book, what he understands from it. That's it, in a nice way. That's all you have to know about GS. It's quite generalistic. Keep it like that. Don't go too much into, lot of specialist approach. But I wanted to tell you more about anthropology because nobody thinks about that. GS, you can get it easily. Don't worry, right? But anthropology, you concentrate on, because, yeah, like that. So, anthropology, current affairs, you read, what papers do you read? Newspapers? Yeah, Hindu, that's good. Just stick to one thing and read it. That's okay. So, there, anything related to, say, tribals, anything, you will, right now I cannot, if I tell you the specifics, you might not understand. So, you see a tribal news and you just ask, sir, yeah, or you discuss amongst yourself, how can I use it in my answer? So, anything you see, you read it. you make notes only after, you discuss with somebody and see how can I use it in my answer. So anything related to tribals, anything related to say Indus Valley Civilization, Stone Age, Copper Age, Bronze Age, those sort of things. And anything related to syllabus. So recently there was an article, it was on how high altitude changes the body in Hindu, high altitude. So that is related to anthro, because there's a topic in physical anthro called high altitude and man's adaptations. So that I found kind of relevant. Not everything is relevant, very few things are relevant, but do at least look through it. Yeah, so that is your current affairs. And the websites, actually, there's a very good website for theories which explains it very nicely. Actually serves notes mainly. And then there's a University of Alabama website. Right, University of Alabama Anthropological Theories. So just refer these things. And especially theories take a little more time. I used to do 1 day per theory. So 1 day or 2 days per theory you can spend, because it takes some time to understand. Right? Other than the class notes, right? You can refer if you can get any toppers question papers, or answer papers and all, that would be very useful, because you will know exactly how they write. So I think few toppers have uploaded their answer scripts online, so just check that is very useful. Other than that, no, other than that, let me think. No, yes, of course. Zaza report, such things. Actually, the rank 3, Sachin Gupta has written a very good strategy. Just read that. I think it's on Insights of India. It's a very good strategy. And it has all the books you would ever need. Many basic books. You can pick and choose out of that. Because you are attending coaching also, so your work is halved. Right? If you don't attend coaching, you have a lot of work of compiling. Your work is little lesser. So check the coaching notes, check that blog also. It's actually a very good blog. And he has a page also, I think, on Facebook. You can follow that. It's a very useful page. Actually puts all the anthro related current affairs. You don't have to search anywhere. So I think Sachin Gupta rank 3, he's putting that. So I find it very useful. He picks and chooses, so you don't have to go through any effort. So always try to minimize your hunting, the effort of hunting. Find the reliable sources and follow that. Absolutely. So, yeah. Yes, I think I'll upload it in say 1 or 2 months. I'll upload it online. Yeah, I'll find out and I'll tell you. I'll inform sir when I upload it, definitely. And I'll tell you. So I'll tell you one very important thing. Yashi, you asked the main question. You asked a very good question actually. What is notes and how do you make these notes, right? So that's what I told you. Whenever you make notes, right? See, I'll tell you the mistakes I did in note making and how you can improve that. So when I made notes, I just put the heading of a topic. I wrote 10 points on a topic. That's it. So that was a very wrong strategy. Don't do that, right? Don't do that, please. When you write notes, when you make any notes, make it like an answer, right? So refer sir's notes like absolutely religiously. It's very, very useful. Refer that and make notes out of that. So a compressed version of it, you have to compress it 2 to 3 pages. So any notes on anything should be 2 to 3 pages in question answer form with correct introduction and conclusion. In anthro, you have to prepare your introductions and conclusions beforehand. So that's how the toppers get marks. So you have to prepare the correct introductions and conclusions. So that is how you have to make notes. Take time and make notes. Don't worry. But when you make it right. Otherwise, you'll have to discard all your notes when you write the test series, whenever you write the test series. So either join the test series here only and, write answers simultaneously. Get it checked by sir. Get the correct answers. Sir provides, I think, model answer keys. Out of that, make the answers. Make answers. Don't make notes. Right? So I'm telling you again, make answers. Don't make notes. Right? This will make your effort of revising much easier. You'll see when you'll revise for the exam, like say 2 years later or 1.5 years later, you will thank me because you will be able to revise anthro in 1 day. And there is no subject you can revise like that. Or no subject in my knowledge you can revise in 1 day. If you have the answers well prepared with correct introductions and correct conclusions, you will be able to revise this, and this subject will give you an advantage that no subject can provide, believe me. So how do you know your introductions and conclusions are correct? Ask sir, discuss with your topper friends. It's very important. Believe me, it's highly underrated, but it's very important that you ask the topper friends of yours or your seniors who have scored very good marks in Anthro and let them evaluate your introductions, your conclusions. Don't try to do anything on your own, or don't assume that you know everything, because I assumed that, and I almost paid for it. So I had to put in a lot of work at the end, to correct all my previous mistakes, which took away a lot of time. So you can go the right approach from the beginning, right? So this is what I want to convey to you. So, this is why I'm telling it to you with this much intensity, because I do not want you to make those mistakes. And if you do that, Anthro's selection rate will also go much higher. Most people don't realize it and they keep making the same mistakes. So that's books for anthropology. Yes, you can. Actually, the class notes are very good. For physical, you can check PNAth selectively. Again, PNAth in a selective manner. So PNAth is good. There are numerous books actually out there, but I wouldn't suggest making any notes from them. You can read them to understand. So there is D.K. Bhattacharya for prehistoric anthropology. Very nice book. So note it down if you want. And there are certain videos of D.K. Bhattacharya on YouTube. And those are very nice videos, which give you a real perspective on prehistoric anthropology or prehistoric archaeology. So D.K. Bhattacharya for prehistoric, PNAth you can go for this one, physical. Then for paper 2, Nadeem Hasnain, it's quite good. Nadeem Hasnain's Tribal India and Nadeem Hasnain's Indian anthropology. So they're okay, but you can read it to get an understanding, right? That's it. But I think for writing answers, Sir's notes plus whatever understanding you have. Sir's notes are actually extremely good for writing answers. And finally, you have to write answers. So yeah, I think these books should cover it. Okay, you're asking me a very wide question. No problem. Yeah, that's fine. Totally fine. I understand your situation. It's like, you feel lost sometimes, or you feel that, how am I ever going to do it? But believe me, there's a way. And actually your question's a little wide, so I can't answer everything, but I'll tell you a few things. See, Anthro, you just follow what I told you. Follow it. I'm telling you, you'll reach somewhere, for sure. I'm telling you, you will reach somewhere, 100% in the list, or interview at the very least. So for Anthro, you can do that. I'll tell you approximately, try to finish 1 to 2 readings of Anthro with 70 to 80% of answers ready. Okay? Till prelims, June. Okay, 1 to 2 readings with 70% of answers. The rest of the 30% you can do later. Right? If you're attending 2 coachings, say GS and optional, it's a little hard. So I'm actually getting it in your first attempt, attending 2 coachings is a little hard, but I would suggest you to minimize either one. Attend very selectively. I would suggest attend Anthro more, get the notes of GS. So these are the tips and tricks you need to crack it in your first attempt, because you need time. And in first attempt, you don't have time. Time is of the essence. So you can just get the coaching notes of your GS, attend only Anthro. If you feel strong in Anthro, get the notes of Anthro, attend GS. Do that, because 2.5 hours plus 2.5 hours, which is GS plus Anthro, is 5 hours. And then you'll be tired and you hardly have any time. So if you have just jumped in, do that. Read syllabus, question papers, watch toppers interview, toppers this thing and all that, whichever you find good. But read syllabus, read question papers. Don't forget that. And if you want to crack prelims for sure, I would say 3 months of preparation, especially now. 3 months of purely prelims preparation, right? With 50 test papers, right? So this is average I'm giving you. I'm not guaranteeing you after that, but you have a very good chance there. 50 papers of 2 to 3 different coaching institutes and all that. This will approximately help you do it. So this is for prelims. For mains, get your concepts right. Right? Answer writing, you do, but limited. For Anthro, you do more answer writing. For GS, you try to understand the topic, because after this, you will join a test series. So please do not forget to join test series at any cost for both GS and optional after you qualify your prelims. So that is extremely important. Don't forget that. Okay. So this, you follow this much, you will do it. Alright. You have just the right amount of time to crack this exam and make it to say top 100. Just the right amount of time. Essay, see, analyze the last 25 years question papers. Actually, Mrunal has an analysis of last 25 years essay topics. Right? Just see Mrunal and 25 years question papers. Just see that everything is given very beautifully. About ethics paper, okay, a general piece of advice I can give you on ethics would be that it's less about reading and more about writing and getting it evaluated. So I could suggest, you know, if you join an ethics test series, because ethics is a little different from GS 1, 2 and 3. So GS 1, 2 and 3, it's about content and writing. Ethics, it is about, you know, preparation of examples. So prepare the examples, what you see for every topic on the syllabus in ethics. Right? So prepare that and do answer writing practice. So if you can join a different test series for ethics, that would be good. And prepare examples on each thing. This is enough for ethics. For essay, essay, I think you can worry about it after qualifying prelims. Yeah, after. It's okay. Right now you worry about GS and optional, especially optional. Right? Okay, so thank you everybody. It was nice interacting with you. Yeah, so please keep these things in mind and I assure you, you will reach somewhere.